Wednesday, August 9th, 2023, Smart Growth Committee meeting to order with myself, Lisa Dorsey, and Patrick McCoy. With that, are there any comments, suggestions, petitions by residents in attendance regarding any items not on the agenda? Seeing none, item 3, discussion items. Are there any discussion items?
You want to go over Wyeth and
Yes. So with that, I just wanted to ask regarding updates about the Wyeth property as well as the Davis Oil property.
Start with Davis Oil. There's no significant updates on Davis Oil other than DEP is continuing their remediation efforts down there. And that's going to take quite some time. I haven't heard anything from the property owner or a prospective buyer or development there in quite some time. We did have a meeting about 6 months ago, but I don't know if that has gone any farther. So we'll just wait and see on that as DEP continues their efforts down on that site. Wyeth, we met last Thursday on site there with the developers to discuss the installation of their stormwater piping that they need to complete. They want to get a head start on that because it's it's drier weather right now, so they don't have as much stormwater that they're going to encounter while getting that done. So we've agreed to let them continue to move forward with that work as long as they have all administrative items in place. They are permitted to move forward because they do have a preliminary land development approval there, so they can start site work at their own risk. But we're confident that the stormwater piping, there's not going to be any changes to that. This ties in a lot of stormwater drainage from off-site. So it's going to come down and then tie into the culvert, which culvert that crosses East Nields. They're going to be replacing that as well as part of their land development approval. So it's a significant amount of work. And they plan on, in discussions with them, they plan on submitting their final land development plans in about 60 days. Mr. McCoy, you had asked me about 531 Marshall Drive. There was a discharge of home heating oil from a oil tank in the basement there. The contractors, the house is being renovated. The contractors had accidentally discharged the tank into the basement, which then they pumped out through the sump pump into the street. There was a large response from DEP, Public Works, and Fish and Boat. We posted a stop work order on the site. They're not permitted to do any work related to their permit until the situation with the heating oil is remediated. They have contracted with an environmental firm to assist in that remediation. I met out on site with the property owner, that consultant, and DEP last week and came up with a plan for them to begin that work, which they did start. The property owner has agreed to pay an invoice from Public Works for all the time that they've spent out on site there. And he has also agreed to pay a fine of $500 for that discharge of the heating oil. You're welcome.
Thank you. Any further questions for Kevin? All right, thank you. Let's go to action item number 4, approve subdivision plan for lot line change at 101 East Ashbridge.
Yeah, so this is a very simple, it's called a lot line change. I wouldn't even call it a reverse subdivision, but the owner at 101 East Ashbridge, which is the corner property there at North Walnut and Ashbridge, wants to relocate the northern property line. They want to move it north closer to the adjacent property. He owns both properties there. They just want to give themselves more rear yard at that property there and really prohibit any type of future development between those two lots there. Both lots are going to remain compliant with the zoning code, so there was no issues there. The lot back there it's pretty steep in the one corner, and it's not really usable. So you want to give himself more of a usable yard there. Alex Barlow from DL Howell is here tonight. He can answer any technical questions, but from a zoning perspective, there were no concerns, and the planning commission did give a favorable recommendation for approval.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Gore regarding the subdivision plan?
No questions.
Any public comment, questions? Okay, we could call that a 3-0 decision. Let's move to item B, approve July 2023 HARB submissions. The first one, 220 West Gay Street, Hazley Builders.
This was for an addition to the building at 220 West Gay, and the recommendation from HARB was to approve the conceptual design as it was submitted with the following comments. One, that the addition be located at the front of the site as proposed. That the addition will be offset a minimum of 1 foot behind the face of the existing brick townhouse. That the lower front top of the wall eave line, lower the front top of wall eave line so that the corbelled cornice occurs just above the 3rd floor window head. And the applicant will return with the revised comments for final HARB review and recommendation. So this is just the conceptual design for the placement and the brick facade. So they are going to have to go back to HARB, but at least they can get started with building permit submissions.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Any questions?
No questions.
Any public comment? All right, we can move forward with that as a 3-0 decision. Item 2, 9 North High Street.
Yeah, there were a couple aspects to this. This was for some renovations to the building facade for the new restaurant that's going to be going in there. And the first was that they wanted the front entrance door. HARB did approve it with the following changes: that the front entrance door shall be revised to a 3/4 glass light door in lieu of a half glass light. And that the side lights also be revised to match that 3/4 proportion. The new windows at the rear of the restaurant addition shall be 8/8 double hung to match the existing building windows. And the addition for the over the rear parking lot, that the gabled roof shall be glass per the proposed design. That's the new addition. So that's like it'll be a quasi outdoor dining platform over top of the parking with a retractable glass roof. And HARB approved that as submitted.
Thank you. I didn't see any. I don't have any questions. Any questions about this?
No.
No questions.
Any public comment? Seeing none, we can move to approve that 3-0. Item number 3, 142 East Market Street.
So this is modifications to the roof deck. There was prior approvals for this. That's not the right one, Jeff. Wait for that to get put up on the screen. So there were prior approvals from HARB for a new roof deck on top of this building for the bar. But they had to make some structural changes to this. And HARB did approve it with the following changes: and that the roof deck configuration and structural concept shall be as submitted. But in lieu of the proposed flat stucco wall finish, they wanted the upper wall band finish material to be revised to painted AZAC type composite flat panels with matching raised perimeter frames. The proposed medallions at the upper wall band will be deleted, and the 3 projecting pilasters at the east wall along Matlack Street will be full height brick with a projecting cornice molding mitered to correspond to the plan configuration of the wall pilasters. So they had to add some new pilasters for some structural supports for the roof structure.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Any further questions?
No questions.
Any public comment? All right, seeing none, we approve item 3. Item 4, 148 East Gay Street.
Yeah, this was for a door and transom restoration on the facade and I guess some windows as well, but there was only one minor change. It was approved that they just wanted to clarify that the new windows would be simulated divided light and they would be wood instead of any other type of material.
Thank you. Any questions?
No.
Any public comment? Right, seeing none, approve item 4. Item C, approve July 2023 smart growth minutes. Any objection? Okay, any public comment? All right, item C approved. Any other business? Seeing none, move to adjourn.